I think that art is just like a documentation of how we feel or how we think in a present moment. And it's not necessarily representative of who we are and how we're gonna feel later on, because identity isn't real and we're always changing and we're always having different thoughts and feelings and experiences. And so I'm starting to honor all the different versions of myself and all the different thoughts and feelings I have, and putting them out there for the world to react to and to use as a mirror to reflect back whatever they need to learn about themselves. If you hate people for being racist, you're low-key no better than them. Hear me out, because you're hating people based on a specific trait that they have, and that trait is racism. I believe that everything that we judge in others is a reflection of us. So when I judge someone for being racist, it's not because I'm racist, but I'm judging a group of people for the way that they are. I'm judging racist people. And one of them is something that you're born with. You're born with the race that you are, and it doesn't make you any lesser. And one of them is learned, but they're still just a product of their environment, of whatever they've been fed, whatever life experiences they've had. I just believe that if I had the exact same life as a racist person, I would also be racist. I don't think anyone is like inherently a better person than anyone else. And I think that if you are born with more empathy, it's just because you learned that empathy in your past lives. Obviously, racism is something that we should reject. Hatred is something that we should reject. But see if you can find it in your heart to not hate these people and to find some empathy and love for them. And I think that's how we heal people, because we heal by, first of all, becoming aware of the problem and acknowledging it, then validating it. So we have to validate that there's a reason that you have these feelings, there's a reason that you have these emotions, and that's valid actually based on your life experiences and based on what you've been fed. And once people are validated, that's when they can learn to heal themselves and to return back to our natural state, which is love. And it's not valid to hate people for the color of their skin and for the way that they look or for where they were born or things like that. But we can validate that based on that person's life experiences, there's a reason that they feel that way. Everything really comes from fear, scarcity, shame, and we heal that through love and validation. People need to feel that it's safe for them to be themselves and it's safe for them to make mistakes in order to heal. There's this TikTok video that I'm contemplating posting right now, and I literally feel like I'm bouncing between two different realities, because there's one reality where like I look at it and I'm like, this isn't offensive at all, like this is like fine. And then there's this other reality where I'm like, I cannot post this is horrible, like this is so offensive. And I can really see it from both perspectives, and like I have to choose which perspective I want to act on. And I know that if I posted it, I think I would literally quantum leap, because I know the perspective where I'm not judging it and I see it in a better light is like the higher vibrational perspective. And me thinking it's offensive is me relating to people who are more in this like fear and scarcity mindset and who are struggling in life, which is valid. Like everyone's perspectives are valid, and the thing is I can see everyone's perspectives and validate everyone's perspectives, but I feel like I'm being guided to really like be secure in who I am and to show up as a certain version of me that is in this energy of like unconditional love, and being okay with the fact that people are gonna be offended by it, people are gonna take it the wrong way, people might think I'm a bad person or whatever it is that they want to think about me. So I've been trying to work through like all the different fears I have with posting this video. Like, first of all, people might think I'm a bad person. People might think that I'm justifying racism. People just might be offended and think I'm a bad person and that I don't like have empathy for people who experience racism, which is not true, because I definitely do, and that's part of why I'm struggling to post this video, because people die because of racism every day, and it is a huge issue, and I'm not trying to minimize it, or I'm not trying to like, I don't know, I'm not trying to do anything bad. But I feel like I also need to just be okay with the fact that people might think I'm a bad person, and I know that I'm not a bad person. I know who I am. God knows who I am. I'm doing this for God. And if people think I'm a bad person, that shouldn't really affect me, because I just know that they're wrong, and that the people who are meant to be in my life will see me for me and know what kind of person I am. I guess my biggest fear would be someone like sees this video and it actually like hurts them or makes them feel invalidated in some way. But again, I feel like at a certain point I have to be comfortable with being a catalyst for people's pain sometimes, because that is how we heal sometimes. So I sent this video to my mentor, who's like very, very spiritual, a very high vibrational type of person. And he said, I think it's well said and I would post it. And then I asked my sibling. My sibling is very much like a very moral, empathetic person, really cares about all of these different marginalized communities and does a lot for them. Similar to me and like similar to how I really used to be. I used to be like, I cannot ever hurt anyone. I cannot ever make mistakes. Like, from a place of having a lot of empathy and really caring about people, but also this place of like feeling that it was unsafe to ever offend people or to hurt people. So my sibling is very much like me in that way, kind of like the old me more so actually. And they definitely still live more in like that fear and scarcity mindset. And I do have a lot of empathy for people. I really care about people. I don't want to hurt people. But also part of it was more rooted in an unhealthy place of wanting people to like me, wanting people to accept me, feeling like I can't make mistakes, feeling like me offending people is a threat to my survival. And that's the part of me that I'm kind of outgrowing. So I also sent it to my sibling and they said, I think it's helpful to talk about not hating racist people, but I wouldn't post it because it could shut down the very valid movement to end racism. People are dying and unable to live happy lives because of racism. The way you explained it almost positions discrimination against people of color as an equal issue to discrimination against racist people. I do get where you're coming from. Like, our relative's racism was her grabbing onto a fascist movement, and that fascist movement was her safe harbor during a traumatic childhood. I'd change the intro. So I feel like I'm having to decide who do I agree with and what am I gonna do and which version of me do I wanna be. And am I okay with being polarizing and just like honoring all these different sides of myself, even though I can see the other side of people who are gonna disagree with this. Really, this video is about unconditional love. It's in the energy of love and empathy at the end of the day, but I know that people are gonna take it the wrong way. I don't think it shuts down the movement to end racism. Like, I'm not saying that racism is okay and that we should not try to get rid of it. I'm just saying that we heal everything through love and empathy, which is literally the truth. Like, I've just learned from so many life experiences that the way that we heal things is by validating them. And you first have to really feel, acknowledge, and validate things in order to transmute our different emotions into other emotions. So for example, to transmute that hate and that fear into love and empathy. Also, obviously, I'm not trying to say that discrimination against people of color is an equal issue to discrimination against racist people. You know, there's very little harm in the world because people are discriminating against racist people, I feel like. I wasn't trying to say that at all, but I did purposely have an attention grabber intro that I knew would be a little bit offensive and controversial, and maybe was not entirely representative of my feelings about the situation. Like, I don't actually think that people who judge racist people are as bad as racist people, obviously, but that is the shadow that is being reflected back to them. I'm probably gonna ask a few more people in my life about their opinions on this and then make a decision. I feel like I have to post it, or maybe I'll refilm it like my sibling suggested. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like, I'm having to decide right now which version of me I want to be and which opinion I want to value. And just like, I don't know, there's a lot of lessons lately where I'm observing public figures and I'm realizing how people are supposed to be polarizing and authentic, and that's how other people heal through their relationship to them. And that as this public figure, you have to just make peace with the fact that people are going to judge you and have all these different opinions about you, and it's not really relevant to you, and it's a way for other people to heal and interact with the world and themselves. And so I just feel like I'm going through a lot of lessons in terms of that, and like, how do I want to show up authentically, and can I make peace with the fact that people are going to hate me? And I know that if I watched this video from someone else, I would see their point and I wouldn't judge them and think they're a horrible person and be mad at them. And I think that there's also people out there who would feel the same way, people who are in like a higher vibration. And those are the people whose opinions I do care about the most. But then at the same time, I don't want to like make everyone else hate me and be offended. But I'm also okay with it. Actually, I just realized like I shouldn't value high vibrational people's opinions the most. I should value everyone's feelings and opinions equally. I guess I'm kind of like, who am I? Like, what is my identity? I guess you get to choose. And who do I want to be in this world? I do want to be someone who like advocates for unconditional love. And I do care about everyone's opinions and feelings. but I'm just gonna share my perspective, and it's okay if people don't like me for it. The universe low-key told me a few months ago that like all of my peers were gonna reject me at some point, and that it was like part of the process. And so I've also been like making peace with that and wondering when it's gonna come. And maybe it is just so that I make peace with it, and maybe it'll never actually come to fruition, because sometimes the universe will tell me things about the future that don't end up being true, but it's just because I was supposed to think that in order to have the proper life experiences. And I've even been wondering lately if some public figures who are like saying really offensive things are actually following God and actually like in touch with their authentic self and actually listening to source. I think that if people are like hurting a bunch of people, they're probably not. But if they're just like saying offensive things, like maybe they can still actually be in touch with God, and they're supposed to be saying those things in order to evoke certain responses in people so that people can reflect and heal. But I don't know, I haven't really decided what I think about that. Who knows, but I think sometimes the things that God wants us to do are not going to appear to be like the most good and righteous thing to do. It makes me think of Fear and Trembling by Kierkegaard, and the story of Abraham being asked to sacrifice his son by God, and how sometimes faith is supposed to transcend reason, and then sometimes the things that our intuition tells us to do don't make any logical sense. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at in life, and I'm kind of wondering what to do and which version of me I'm gonna choose, because I can literally see both sides. Like there's a side of me that is like, this is offensive, don't post this is gonna rub people the wrong way, and like you should judge racist people. And there's truth to that. There's a part of me that is human and feels that way, and then there's a part of me where I can see it from a higher perspective and understand that we transmute everything through love and validation. And maybe some people need to hear that message. Maybe it would be helpful in some way. But I'm also like, what are you gonna do? Like sit down with a racist person and validate that their racism? Like that sounds so insane. But that literally is how people would heal, I think. Actually, I think you literally just have to like validate it and understand their perspective within your own mind, and then find love and understanding for everyone. And that's how you literally transmute the emotion. Like you don't even have to interact with an actual racist person, because that emotion that you have where you are judging a certain group of people and where you feel hatred and dislike or whatever it is that you feel for other people, if you can get to a place of understanding them, having empathy for them, forgiving them, and loving them, then you transmuted the emotion without ever even having to interact with them. And then you are transmuting your own feeling of hatred for other people into love. And so that's healing the collective consciousness, because now you're in the energy of love and acceptance instead of hatred and division. I'm just so familiar with the process of like how we heal the mind and heart at this point that I just know that's literally how we heal things, at least in my reality. This video is kind of coming from like my higher self. Like it's not something that my human self can always get into the headspace of. But I also wouldn't judge someone for saying this. Like I would resonate with them if they said this. So I know that the people who are meant to be in my life are not gonna like judge and hate me if I say this. I don't know if I'm gonna like post this video after I post the video or before, and you guys can give me your opinion. But I've also just noticed that the universe and the algorithm rewards me for being a little bit offensive and controversial. So I feel like I'm gonna start making videos with my most like offensive opinions, which are basically like, we could try to have empathy for racists, and bipolar disorder is like a spiritual thing and it's not a bad thing, and you're a powerful manifester if you have bipolar disorder, and just things like that. Like I feel like there's a few opinions I have that I know people are gonna take the wrong way and get offended by, and that's okay. I'm not meant to be palatable for everyone. I know I'm gonna resonate with specific people who I'm meant to resonate with, and I know that I would resonate with me and I wouldn't judge me, and I literally have empathy for everyone and can understand everyone, and I actually value my opinion most, and I think that I want to be liked by someone like me who is loving and sees the world the way that I do. That's the opinion that I would value. But I still value other people's opinions too much. But yeah, I feel like not enough people are like talking about this perspective and how to actually heal. And it's just a lot of like division and hatred going back and forth, which is understandable though. Like people are really suffering racist people are really harming people. The world is really crazy and horrible right now. And I know the majority of people are just like not at a place where they can probably understand this concept. But maybe they should just be introduced to it a little bit. And maybe some people are ready to implement this in their life, and maybe this is the message that some people need to hear. I feel like God is just testing me, like, how much are you willing to do? How much are you willing to be disliked? And are you gonna choose to be the version of you that sees things from this higher perspective of love? And are you gonna act on that version of you? Or are you gonna act out of fear and scarcity? Because me not posting it literally would be from a place of fear. And it would be me agreeing with the opinions of the people who are in a lower vibrational mindset and a mindset of fear. And then me posting it would be me being the loving, accepting, higher vibrational version of me that doesn't judge me for having those thoughts and that does things out of love and out of a high vibration. So I guess with that being said, you can probably assume what I'm gonna choose, and I feel like I know what I have to choose. Now I'm like, I actually cannot post that video because saying that if you hate racist people, you're no better than racist people is just not true and just minimizes racism so much. And me saying that was inspired by this video I saw of this man sobbing about his mom getting kidnapped by ICE, and he had voted for Trump, and people were like, you deserve this. Like, they didn't feel bad for him or anything. And I was just like, that's so crazy. Like, just because someone is like ignorant and voted for Trump doesn't mean that they deserve to have bad things happen to them. Like, I don't want these bad things to be happening to anyone. And so that's kind of where my head was at with that. Like, if that's how you feel, if you feel like someone being ignorant, like, justifies bad things happening to them, then you're no better than someone who thinks like bad things should happen to you because you're a different race. But obviously if you're just like judging people for being racist and you're not acting on it at all, like that's not even anywhere close to being as bad as a racist person. And also like they started it. But the thing is like you can end it, you can transmute that hate, but it's not your responsibility. If you can never get to that place of like forgiveness and love, that's totally okay, that's totally valid. We all have different life experiences, and you might have like really had painful experiences that just won't allow you to get to that place. And so I don't want to say that like something is wrong with you if you can't feel that way. I think we all just have like the opportunity to transmute hate into love if we want to, and if we are ready to get to that place. And not everyone is, and that's okay. I feel like I'm in the process of figuring out who am I when I don't fear what other people think of me, when I don't fear being disliked by people. Like now I'm having to figure out who am I, who do I choose to be? And I'm getting to like meet a new version of myself. And there's a part of me that had those thoughts and made that video. And then there's a part of me that watches the video and realizes that that's not exactly how I meant it, and that doesn't exactly represent how I feel about the situation. And I can honor and accept both parts of me, but who I want to be is someone who does see both sides and consider both sides and word things in a way that is going to help more people be receptive to it. Because I feel like maybe that is like a gift that I have, and that I'm able to see things that way. I don't think either part of me is like bad, and I'm not afraid to post that video. I know that I could post it and I would be fine even receiving hate and having people misinterpret me. And so I feel like I was kind of having like an identity crisis and just trying to figure out like, who am I? Who do I want to be? Do I want to be polarizing to help people heal? But I think I'm like a combination of all these versions of myself that can see it from every perspective. And that's who I want to be. And I'd rather take a longer road to success and not offend people and really like say things that I can stand behind than be the most polarizing, offensive version of myself just to get engagement and comments. But yeah, I know this was like a weird video. And there's people who will probably watch this video and still judge me for this, or might even watch like half the video and then judge me. And so I feel like just posting this video is gonna be healing in the way that posting that other video would. But I think it was healing that I'm just like willing to do it. Like I know that I could handle it, and I'm not being controlled anymore by this fear of what people think of me, or if people misunderstand me or think I'm a bad person. That's no longer controlling me, but I still don't want to post that video for other reasons. Because my priority isn't just like getting views. Even though it is something that I want, I still want to try to represent all parts of myself accurately and not offend and hurt people. And I'm sure the universe will find someone else to deliver that message if it's meant to be heard. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.